Okay, Assalamu alaikum. This is Amar Khan, and today we are going to look at trigonometry, specifically further trigonometry. So let us start with the definition first. The word trigonometry has three syllables in it. The first one is tri, that is mean a triangle. Gono is Latin for measurement, and then you have metry. Metry is Latin for study. So if you put together all the syllables, it gives you the study of the measurement of triangles. Now, what to measure in a triangle? Basically, there are 6 elements of a triangle, 3 being angles and 3 are sides. So the angles, here is a triangle. So the angles, as you guys can notice, are in block letters, that is capital letters. And the sides, how do you write the sides? Well, the side present is in front of the angle, so the sides come in small and they are found in front of the angle. So side A is in front of angle A, and likewise we have B and C. So angles are in capitals, whereas your sides are in small letters. Further moving on, let's check out the trigonometry flow chart. So trig basically is divided into 2 parts, that is the first right angle and the second one is non-right angle triangles. So right angle triangles are covered by trigonometric ratios. The formulas used for that is sine theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, cos is base over hypotenuse, and tan is again perpendicular upon base, which you can derive from the famous poem, some people have curly brown hair through proper washing. Anyway, let's not talk about that because the topic is further trigonometry. So only right angles triangles are solved by ratios. So what we are trying to look in this video is going to be solution for the non-right angle triangles, that is solved by further trig. So further trig, you have 2 ways to solve by sine law and cosine law. So let us discover further what are sine law and cosine law. So sine law, the formula goes like the angles come at the top with obviously sine attached to them, and their respective sides are in the denominators. So but again, this is a compound formula because you haven't seen a formula with a 2 equals 2 in between. So this is like saying A is equal to B and B is equal to C, which further translates into 3 formulas. The first one, A is equal to B, second one is B is equal to C, and the third one is A is equal to C. So that's how many formulas you can make from this compound equation. So same law over here. The first formula would be sine A by A is equal to sine B by B. That is your first formula. Second formula would be sine B is equal to sine C and their respective sides in the denominators. And then we have the third formula, finally, sine A is equivalent to sine C upon C. Okay, still I guess things at this point would be pretty much unclear, so I'll clear them out by solving an actual question. So here is the question. The first thing that you need to ask yourself, is it a right angle or is it not a right angle triangle? So just excuse me for a moment. So the question is this. So out of the formula, out of the question, we need to find out angle C. That is what the question is inquiring us. So since it's not a right angle triangle, the question is definitely from further trig, and further trig is solved by sine law and cosine law. So the question arises, which one do we put here, sine law or cosine law? Well, there are certain requirements for both the laws when to use when. Like for example, sine law is used when you have one full pair and one half pair. So that's when you'll put sine law. So let us see what is meant by that. If I see angle A is present and also in front of angle A, the side A is present. So for A, I have a full pair of A. Full pair of A. Now I have a half pair of C because side C is here but angle C is not present. Obviously we need to find that. So whenever you are given a situation in which you have a full pair and one half pair, you always put sine law. So how do we put sine law? Now there are 3 iterations of sine law. These are 3 versions, and out of 3 we'll be picking up the most suitable one for the question. Now this is out of the window. Why? Because if you see the question, we need to find out angle C, and this does not have C. So our probable options remain these two, but if you see, we have not been given anything of the pair B. As you can see, no B is present, neither the side nor the angle, so that would make the formula incomplete. So what do we have? We'll put up this formula. So let's put up this formula. Sine A upon A is equal to sine C upon C. So sine A is, the angle at A is 98. So since we have an angle now, so I'll put in place of an A 98 and side A is 19. Then what do we have for C? We have just the side C, that is 11. And sine C, since we need to find this out, this remains our unknown. So I'll be making sine C the subject of the equation. That would mean sine 98 multiplied by 11 upon 19. This would give me the value for sine C. Now what do you need to do? You need to put this whole expression into the calculator, and the calculator will solve this for you. So sine 98 is basically 0.9, and that multiplied by 11. So this comes out as 0.573 as equal to sine C. Now remember, the only thing that we need to find out is the capital C, because that is our angle, and since sine is attached with it, so I'll have to put it across the equals to. Whenever a trigonometric function goes across the equals to, it changes itself into an inverse of the function, so that would be sine inverse of 0.573. Now if you do that, you'll be able to find out angle C. So again, use of the calculator, put the inverse sign and put sine inverse of 0.573. So the answer comes out 34.9. We'll write it down as 35 degrees. So there you have your answer. C is equal to 35 degrees. Just a quick wrap up of what we can do. Sine law is basically applied when you have a full pair and a half. That's the requirement for sine law. Whenever you see this much amount of data given, you'll put in sine law. Then out of the three, you'll select your most favorable formula for the question. Like I did the ratio for sine A by A and sine C by C, and ultimately you'll find out what they are inquiring, make that the subject of the equation, and then you have your answer. I hope you guys can get this, and good luck. Thank you.